When it comes to hacking, I got to tell you, it's getting scarier and scarier. And we're talking about voting machines here, something that should be sacred. And last week, there was in Las Vegas, they had a big security conference, DEF CON. And what did we find out here, Shawn?
Well, what we found out is that voting machines are hackable, and that when they hack into the voting machines, they are able to manipulate the vote, not just disrupt them, but actually change the vote. And perhaps more interestingly, they are able to what we call rickroll the machines and have at least one play Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up.
So you can, it's amazing what can be done then. I mean, would that not be something on Election Day and all of a sudden something like that happening?
Well, it is, but there's a really important point that I want to make. These were 30 voting machines that they were able to get off of eBay and government auctions. And while some may have still been used in recent elections, they're generally outdated and have been phased out. So we're not talking about state-of-the-art, top-grade security voting machines that hopefully we're using. But that's the lesson. Get these old ones out of the system and use good, secure, state-of-the-art machines.
But the old ones were lever machines, right, where you actually cast a ballot, where today's are all electronic.
Yeah, but there's correct me if I'm wrong, Shawn, there are newer versions of the electronic machines.
Yeah. I don't think these are the old lever machines or, we're not looking at a tablet and a chisel. But, something between that and modern. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, when they made the switch, we, come up with newer and better models. And one would hope that whatever we're using for especially national elections, statewide even, one would hope that it's the most modern technology out there. Probably it isn't, though. And I guess the fear would be, Shawn, that some of these older machines might still be in the system.
That's right, and I think there's knowing what I know about computers and security within businesses, governments, you name it, there are still far too many computers and systems being used that are outdated all over, and I'm sure there are in voting counties and things like that as well. And so we really need to make a push to get these things upgraded and modernized.
It is you tell me. I mean, you're a specialist here. It is a race. Every day it seems to be a race. And what I mean by that is every time you come up with a hack, the company responsible, a security company, comes in and they put a fix on it. And then you're trying to almost outsmart the hackers because they're racing to hack the fix. It does seem to be a race to the finish line every single day.
You're absolutely right, and that's a great way to describe it. I mean, this is a game of cat and mouse. It's warfare. You have an active adversary trying to find vulnerabilities and means of attack, and you have an active defense that's on the other side is trying to stop that, and each one is evolving. So it's a process that can't ever stop. We have to continue.
When Apple comes out and says, for instance, our Apple Pay is not, no one can get your information. When they come out and say, even we can't hack into our security, we have no way to do it. And if we did have a way to do it, then a hacker would be able to figure it out. Are they accurate? Is Apple being truthful?
Well, those are, generally speaking, they're pretty secure. But at some level, every computer system is hackable by someone or some tool. And so it's a matter of extremes and degrees there. Generally speaking, they're secure and they're doing a great job at it. Is it absolutely impossible? No. There are people that have done it and can and will do it.
One of the scariest things I think that we have to face is we all learned, I say we hope we all learned that check the email address when you're receiving something because you got to make sure it's coming really from the actual company. Or phone calls, look for caller ID. The problem is today is these hackers are able to manipulate the phone system so the number comes in and it looks legitimate. Additionally, when it comes to email, they're able to come up with a presentation that looks just like it's coming from the real company. It's pretty scary. You don't know who to trust or who to believe today.
It is, and for we as individuals, we have to maintain that same vigilance in security and educating ourselves and getting away from this, I don't do cyber kind of mindset.
Yeah.
We're in a cyber world. We all have to educate ourselves and stay updated on trends and, understand the old principle. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So you may not identify the address of that email, but you know what? I probably didn't really win this, or I'm probably not, whatever. I mean, use your common sense too.
Do you have advice? They have these services out there that you can get into. I mean, there's one commercial out where the owner's giving out his Social Security number. Do you recommend any of those services?
Those are pretty good for identity theft, and they do a good job on identity theft, but there's a lot more risk out there than just that. The example you gave, the email, what we find is generally 90% of the attacks we see at some level start with an email, with someone sending a malicious link or an attachment that's infected. And so, I recommend people start by learning to spot these phishing emails and these social engineering attacks, because that's where so much of it is. Use good passwords. Yeah. Be careful with your security questions. Don't use something that people can Google or easily know. And use good antivirus, things like that, on your computer. A lot of basic stuff you can do to, in security, we're not trying to make you secure. We can't. We're trying to make you more secure than those around you.
Wow, that's really it's a little scary when you hear that, but it's the way it is. Quickly, about 18 years ago, we went to a bank. This was a undercover radio thing that we did. We went to a bank and we stole their garbage at night. The garbage was sitting out, and went through it. We were able to come up with Social Security numbers, credit card information, all of this information. We presented it to the bank. It was a big to-do. Interestingly, that was 20 years ago. Today, that trash is cyber trash. They're gone. Today, that trash is cyber trash. So whether or not that gets to be how secure your bank is, how secure these credit card companies are, their privacy, the way they handle their privacy and their security is something I guess you kind of have to look into. I wanted his answer on that. We're not going to get it. They give us like 5 minutes and then they're gone. But, so you can shred all the stuff you want, but once it's in the computer system, you got to shred it digitally. And are we doing that? Is your bank doing that? Probably not.